Well, I'm sitting here broke down, as happens in trucking sometimes, but I wanted to get a couple of thoughts out while I was sitting here and kind of jumped ahead from John chapter 9 to John chapter 15. Just been thinking about this, but maybe it'll help somebody, maybe not, I don't know. But I was thinking about how people say the common phrase is I have a personal relationship with Jesus. Well, I've been thinking about that a little bit, and that's a common statement. It's a common evangelical vernacular and such, but Jesus knows every person that has ever lived, ever that is living today, and or ever will live. He knows them personally and intimately. He knows everything about them. He knows every thought, every deed, every relationship that they're ever going to have, every word spoken, every word they're ever going to speak. He knows them intimately. He knows every motive of every person. And thinking about that, all that, every bit of that is on record in heaven. He knows it all. And it's very, very personal to him, everything about you. He knows you. And so, whether you're his or you're not, he knows you personally. Everybody's got a personal relationship with Jesus. And, the characterization would better be qualified in thinking about it like this in these terms right here. Or metaphors. And these words are used in the scriptures, like sheep to a shepherd, a child to a father, maybe a subject to a king, a slave to a master, a body, and that's used in the New Testament a lot, a body to the head, And I was just thinking about that and how there's one more metaphor that's would better be used for people that don't know him and sadly will never know him in the way that we just described in those other metaphors, but is the judged to the judge. And that is very sobering, isn't it? And so anyway, some more metaphors I was thinking about in John 15. Right there it says vine to the branches, right? So the vine being him and the branches being the people. He says, I'm going to try my best to remember how it goes, but he says, I'm the vine and the Father's the vine dresser. And he talks about how there's branches in me, he says. These branches are in me that bear no fruit. No fruit. Now there's branches that are in him that bear no fruit, and he says he takes them away. Now, who could that be? Could there be people that are actually hanging out in the body that bear no fruit, that are in him? Well, look at it in the New Testament. You see Judas Iscariot. He was in him, and he was one of the 12. Very, very close to him. Very close to him. And he was taken away. Are there those in the body today that are going to be taken away? Absolutely. I mean, John, who wrote the book of John, also wrote the little letter John over in the back. He said there are those that are among us that went out from us that they were not of us. Now, you'll just have to go read that too. But and he says branches that bear fruit, they're pruned, and so that they can bear more fruit. And what does that mean? Well, pruning happens to us as believers. We go through trials and tribulations and hard times so that we can bear more fruit. Though that is the pruning. He said, abide in me and I in you. That means to stay with him. Even if it gets hard, stay right there with him. Because a branch cannot bear fruit of itself. So don't leave him. Just stay right there with him. He said, no one, I tell you what, it's hard to remember all these verses, but no one that doesn't abide in me, the person that don't abide in him is cast out and withered. And they are gathered and thrown into the fire and burned. And we know that's going to happen on Judgment Day. So stay with him. Even if it gets real hard, man, I'm telling you what, it can be bad out here. It's going to get harder too. And it's on purpose. It's that way. We're going to be pruned. We got to, he is going to narrow this thing down. The few and the many. You remember those verses? There are going to be many that find the way to destruction. There's going to be just a few that make it. And I want to be one of the few, don't you? He said, if you abide in me and my words abide in you, you will ask what you desire, and it will be done for you. By this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit, so you will be my disciples. Stay in my word. He said, if you abide in me and my words abide in you, you will ask. I may have got it right that time, had it wrong the first time, but it's all about staying in his word. That's how you're going to know the difference between the false and the real, is to stay in his word. And as the tribulations arise, as the hard times arise, stay with him. Don't leave him. Don't forsake him like Judas did. Don't get your eyes on the deceitfulness of riches, because I'm telling you what, that's what draws more people away than anything. It's talked about so much in the word. Paul said, I didn't take nothing from any of you. He said, my own hands. I worked with my own two hands. Relationships can pull you away from him when you put more stock in the ones around you and you leave him for them. Don't do that. A true brother, a true sister will stay right there with you. And the sufferings of this life are not worthy to be compared with what he's prepared for you. So stay with him. Stay in his word. Stay in the truth. Don't leave him. Don't leave him for glory that's over there in the green that's over on the other pasture over there. It looks green, but it's not real. It will not remain. Stay with him. Stay with him. Don't get caught up in false teaching and false doctrine and those who will delude you with words and of lies to draw you away from the Messiah. Stay right there with him. That's all I got. I appreciate you listening to me, and take everything I say with a grain of salt, but you can find the stuff that I just talked about over there in John 15. But think about it. Shoot, send me a comment. Let me know what you think. By the way, give it to the widows, the orphans, and the poor. I love you.